See the third problem, this is called dining philosopher's problem. This is also one of the important problem of classical IPC. So let me first define what is dining philosopher's problem. We are given n philosophers. N philosophers. Philosophers are nothing but researchers. They are given a problem to think about, to propose a solution for. Okay, there are n philosophers. Generally, the value of n is greater than or equal to 2. Like for example, here I have defined it for 5 philosophers. So we are given 5 philosophers. These philosophers are sitting on a round table. Every philosopher has got his seat. This is a seat of philosopher 0. This is a seat of philosopher 1. Every philosopher is given an ID. So 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 5 philosophers sequentially numbered from P0 to P4 are sitting on a round table, okay, along with their seats. And they are given the problem, research problem, to think about and come out with a solution. So after thinking for a long time, they are bound to become hungry. So after thinking, so initially the first activity is think. After thinking, they are bound to become hungry. The food which is provided to the philosopher on board is the rice which is there in the plates. These are the plates, round thing. And between the plates of the 5 philosophers, there are 5 chopsticks. Chopsticks. Chopsticks are also called forks. Okay, regular spoon or chopstick. So this is the chopstick 0, for chopstick 0 or fork 0. This is fork 1, fork 2, fork 3 and fork 4. Chopstick or fork. So 5 philosophers, 5 forks, 5 chopsticks, and the philosopher is supposed, whenever a philosopher becomes hungry, he is supposed to take his left and right. Like P0, this is a left fork or left chopstick, this is right. For P1, this is a left and this is right, and like that. So any philosopher become hungry will make an attempt to take his left fork and right fork. If successful in taking the left and right, then he will go to eat, and then after eating is done, he will put down the left fork and the right fork. I am saying fork or chopstick, either way you can follow anything. So this is the life cycle of philosopher. Again I repeat, philosophers occupy their seats, all 5 of them, n of them, okay, and then they start thinking, deliberating, discussing, researching. After thinking for a long time, they become hungry. When they become hungry, they will make an attempt to take the chopsticks or forks. Now why I am using the word attempt here? See, when philosopher 0 become hungry and tries to take the left fork, this may be successful or unsuccessful. Why? Because this left fork is also used by P5 as right. This is a shared fork, shared. It can be used by both neighbors. Likewise, this is also shared between P0 and P1. This is shared between P1 and P2. This is shared between P2 and P3. So if successful in taking the left, then he will try for right. If successful in taking right, then eat, then put, like that. Now, based on this explanation, we can think of writing the code between a code of philosophers. How does the code look like? So let's see that. Okay. So see this code. The code more or less looks similar like earlier occasion, because we are using again semaphores. The chopstick or the fork is implemented as a semaphore. So therefore, I am having 5 chopsticks. So here I am writing chopstick is like a semaphore, which is an array of semaphore 5. Because there are 5 chopsticks, there are 5 forks. So therefore, I am considering it as 5 chopsticks. Okay. So let me take another one. Yes. Right. So there are 5 chopsticks. Here I am saying chopsticks. Chopstick 0, 1. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So any philosopher, when he becomes hungry, will try to take the first chopstick. I mean, look at the convention of chopsticks. For P0, left fork is left chopstick is 0. For P1, it is 1. For P2, it is 2. So in general, for philosopher I, it will be chopstick of I. So this denotes left chopstick, left. So every philosopher I tries to take the left chopstick. If it is available, success. If it is not available, get blocked. Then if he is successful, will try to take the right chopstick. What is right? For P0, right is 1. For P1, it is 2. For 2, it is 3. For 3, it is 4. And for 4, it is not 5, it is 0. So therefore, I plus 1 mod n. Why mod n? Circular. So if I is 0, 0 plus 1. 1 mod 5, 1. 2 mod 5, 2. 3 mod 5, 3. 4 mod 5, 5. 4. 5 mod 5 is 0. So for philosopher 5, I think this should be 4, sorry. Philosopher, because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So for philosopher 4, 4 plus 1, 5, 5 mod 5 is 0. Okay. So right chopstick address is given by I plus 1 modulo n. So we'll try to take the left chopstick. If successful, try to take the right chopstick. If successful, we'll go to eat. Once eating is done, he will leave the left chopstick, leave the right chopstick through signal operation, and will go back to think. Or go back to think, and then again repeat the cycle. This is a code of dining philosopher. Okay. Now, but the problem with this code is this code may suffer from the problem of deadlock. How deadlock may happen, I will try to explain. So please follow. Again, very peripherally, I will draw the diagram for your convenience again, because that is there in the previous slide. Very quickly, I will draw. These are the chopsticks among the philosophers. So this is philosopher 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. This is chopstick 0, this is chopstick 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Okay. So imagine, for example, I take a different color. Imagine, for example, philosopher 0 picks up chopstick 0, chopstick 0. But before taking chopstick 1, it got preempted. Philosopher 1, imagine all become hungry. All 5 become hungry. So philosopher 1, 0 will take the left chopstick, philosopher 1 will take the left chopstick, philosopher 2 will take chopstick 2, and then everybody picks up their individual left chopsticks concurrently. So all of them have taken their left chopstick. P0 has taken this, P1 has taken this, P2 has taken this, P3 has taken this, P4 has taken. Everybody has taken one left chopstick. And then after that, P0, for example, will try to take up the right chopstick, which is 1, but 1 is held by P1. So P0 waits on P1. Similarly, P1 will try to take chopstick 2, but 2 is already picked up by P2. So P1 waits on P2. P2 waits on P3, P3 waits on P4, and P4 waits on P0. This is how they wait on each other. Everybody takes up their left. No chopstick is available. So this problem is called deadlock. Nobody can go to eat. Okay. Then what are the solutions? So deadlock can happen between the philosophers. So with this code which we have seen, with this code which I have explained to you, this code suffers from the problem of deadlock which I have demonstrated just now. So this code is not correct. Even though we are using semaphore, it is not correct. Then question is how to prevent the deadlock, how to overcome deadlock. There are several solutions given. You can refer them in the textbook there. Those are very simple. How to overcome the problem of deadlock among dining philosophers. So some people say, why we should have only 5 chopsticks, we can have 6 chopsticks. If I have one more extra chopstick, then my problem can be solved. Otherwise, if there is one more solution, like for example, among n philosophers, suppose if for example, everybody do not follow the same order of left and right, one philosopher follow RL, first take right and then left, and another philosopher follow LR, first take up left and then right, then my problem can be solved. My problem of deadlock can be solved. Like that, we can use additional semaphores to overcome the problem. That you take an assignment, because I have discussed the solutions of producer, consumer and reader, writer using semaphore. Following the same guidelines, you can follow the solution which is there in the textbook and also the handout which I am giving. Based on that, you can see the solution using semaphores, additional semaphores, how the problem of deadlock can be overcome in dining philosophers. So this could also be a simple 5-mark problem for your exam. So all these 3 classical IPC problems, namely producer, consumer, reader, writer, dining philosopher, these are important topics from your examination perspective. You can expect a problem question based on this. In addition to that, I do remember, apart from this, you also have this in the form of what you call programming lab. So in the lab, you need to implement producer, consumer problem, reader, writer problem using semaphore as part of this. So the code I have explained, you can implement it in the lab with the help of your instructor and follow it. Okay. Now, when we talk of deadlock, there is a small issue called deadlock versus starvations. So I would like to tell you what is the distinction. That could be a simple 2-mark or 3-mark question. So let's discuss what is the distinction between deadlock and starvation. This could be a simple 2-mark question. Deadlock versus starvation. I will formalize the definition so that you can follow it and remember. Okay. So what is deadlock and what is starvation? In simple terms, we define deadlock as follows. Deadlock is nothing but infinite blocking. Simple definition between deadlock and starvation is that deadlock is infinite blocking. Blocking for a long time is deadlock. And blocking for a indefinite time, that is called starvation. Okay, that is called starvation. So how are we going to solve this problem of deadlock and starvation? Let us see it. So infinite blocking forever is deadlock, and indefinite is a simple comparison. Indefinite blocking is starvation. Now I will project to you a simple code where we can have deadlock. For example, say for example we have two processes I and J. Suppose if process I perform wait operation on semaphore S and then followed by wait operation on semaphore R, and then it has some code, and then it will say signal on S and signal on R. On the other hand, I have other process Pj, it follow the wait operation in a reverse order. It say wait on R and wait on S, and then signal on S, or maybe you can say signal on R and then signal on S, reverse. So this is performing the operations in reverse order. Now for example, if process Pi perform this operation and get preempted, and this performed its operation and preempted, now both of them are holding S and R. Now further they are waiting for other resource R and S. So this potentially lead to a deadlock between the processes. This is a clear illustration. Now both processes are blocked infinitely. That is called deadlock. But starvation generally happens when a process cannot come out from a queue because of arrival of high priority process. So imagine, for example, I have a queue by name L semaphore queue, or maybe some ready queue, block queue, whatever. So if some low priority process gets stuck here, and if I am keeping on getting high priority processes continuously, then this get infinitely stuck. But here there is activity, processes are continuously running, but here there is no activity. So in deadlock, activity halts, activity continue, but one process gets starved to take the chance to run on CPU or utilize the resource. So that is called starvation. So both are not same. Starvation is indefinite. Mean maybe remotely there may be a chance that this fellow may get at some point of time. Okay, but in deadlock it will never be happening that the processes can continue their progress. They cannot progress, they get stuck. But here progress is there. The processes, other processes, high priority, these are high priority processes. So high priority processes can continue to run. There is no stopping of the system. Here the system stops between the two processes. Here system continue, but one process is indefinitely, infinitely blocked. Okay, forever. But system is operating. That is the difference between deadlock and starvation. Generally we can have solutions for solving the problem of starvation. Like for example, I can use high inverting priorities. Like I can give this process higher priority so that it can get a chance to run. So like that, generally we can have some solutions for starvation, but for deadlock you will have to altogether revise the code. I have to change the implementation. I have to reverse both of them, then there will not be any deadlock between Pi and Pj. So that is a comparison between deadlock and starvation. So this topic could also be a simple 2-mark or 3-mark question. Okay, so these are the issues involved. So with this we basically complete the chapter of IPC and synchronization. So with this essentially all the topics are over. So nothing much except for insignificant topics, like there is a topic, simple topic called threads and multi-threading. That I will give you only a PPT, because the concept of threads in detail you are studying in the course of Java. That's why I don't want to repeat. But the PPT which I am going to present to you, from there you can make out some important aspects with regard to threads and processes. Okay, right.